As I said, it's a little dark. Now we're back to the phone because the batteries in the camera wore out. So Mr. Murphy is definitely making his presence known tonight. Let me zoom in there. You can see that screw sticking out through the abutment there. That's how I'm going to attach it to the layout. I've got a 3-inch screw that I'm going to drive through there. I'll countersink it and then spackle it and cover it and paint it, and you'll never know it's there. Same with the other side. So once my cordless drill battery gets charged up, I'll go ahead and hopefully get that done this evening. I've got the support back here between the temporary support that was holding the layout together. It's removed now, and those bridge abutments will just screw right into the edge here of the layout. And if I ever need to take the layout down, I can just pull the screw out, take out the bridge, and separate the layout. So I'm not going to glue those bridge abutments together. They're attached to the bridge. I don't know if those of you who had seen the other layout, there's a hole there that's countersunk with a screw on each end. I'll go ahead and fill those holes and cover them. The tracks are not going to remain in the same position that they're in now on the bridge. This is just full strength white glue here, so all I need to do is spray this with some water and let it sit for a few minutes, and that glue will loosen up and I can take those tracks off of there. The center lines here are a lot closer together than they were on the old layout. Again, these are about 2 inches. I may decide to spread these out a bit. So the other thing too is that the bridge abutments will be flush with the front of the layout, just enough to let the fascia butt up against the back side. I've got to position those and make sure my bridge is level. I've got to make sure also that I set it at the proper height so that it comes off the cork roadbed right onto the bridge. So hopefully the cell phone battery is not going to run out. I'm expecting that to happen next, and then we'll just give up for the evening. But I'm going to turn off the camera here for a minute. Hopefully my battery will be charged here in just a few minutes, and we'll resume with the rest of the video for the evening. Alright guys, what I'm going to do tonight is paint the foam. You know, if you follow my videos, I tend to make things up as I go along, rethink things. I had a conversation with Derek Glass last night on Facebook Messenger, talking about radiuses and distance between center lines and so forth. And Derek uses on his layout, where he has 2 adjoining lines on a curve, he uses a 2.5, sometimes 2 3/8 minimum radius, or I'm sorry, distance between the center lines. And I laid this out with a 2-inch on the curves, and I don't think that's going to be quite enough. So what I've decided to do here, now that I know that at least in general things will fit how I want them to fit, I'm going to go ahead and paint the foam, cover up all the lines that I've drawn out here, and kind of start from scratch, if you will, as far as laying out the main lines. I'm going to lay out, once I get it painted, which probably be all I get done tonight, but I'm going to lay out the outside, what tends to be the outside main, around the perimeter of the layout. When I get into the peninsula, of course, and up into this end of the peninsula, it becomes the inside main. So I'll have to take a pause there, and I think they are where they are as far as the outside main goes in the center line. I'll just have to move that inside in a bit. So you know, we'll see what that does to the radius. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to go ahead and paint, and this paint can here is kind of a collection of different shades of mistake paint from Lowe's, I'll call them, and sample paint from Lowe's. So it's a, you know, a pretty nice brown paint, which will do a good job of covering the foam. So I'm going to start with that, and I will come back and show you how that looks. So one additional thing I need to do is remove this track from my bridge, And so I've just sprayed that down with water right now, and I'm just gonna let it soak. That was full strength white glue that I used to attach that. So once that sits for a while, we'll come back and see how it comes up. All right guys, this has been sitting for probably 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna show you how easily this stuff lifts off of here. So there's the first piece off. Set it down here. Hopefully section number 2 will come loose as easily. There we go. So I have a putty knife here, which I'm going to use just to scrape this residual glue off of here. So it's kind of hard to do this and video at the same time, so I may have to soak this a bit longer to get it wet, but you can see how it's coming loose here. So all right, gentlemen and ladies, there's the paint down. It's still wet, so it's got a gloss to it, obviously. Let's see, right over here is about the color it is when it's dry. I'm not sure how well that's showing up. It's quite a bit darker than what it's showing up in the video. It's about the color of chocolate ice cream or chocolate milkshake, I guess I would say. And it has a flat finish to it when it's completely dry. So the reason for painting it brown is obviously to simulate dirt, so that wherever there may be gaps in scenery and such, you know, the blue doesn't show through. So, you know, I did take a lot of time to draw all those track lines on here, but I'm glad that I did it now. Even though I did cover it up, I'm gonna try and get in my chair here. Sorry for all the racket and camera movement. Hold on one second. All right, so sorry about that. And I did decide to go ahead and paint the end of the peninsula here as well, because it had some extra lines and a little bit of confusion going on here. So, but now that I've done it once, I know exactly how it needs to be done. You know, luckily it was easy to paint over and erase all the previous lines. You can still see them showing through the paint a bit, but that's not going to be a problem. Once it dries, we'll be good to go with new lines, new surface. There's a little bit of paint on the backdrop over here. Sorry about the finger in the front of the lens. But the backdrop, again, is going to be painted blue. And wherever that paint, and I used a roller to do this, by the way. So that paint is from the edge of the roller where it bumps up against there. But, you know, again, it's going to be blue. And then at the bottom, there's going to be either backdrop buildings or scenery in front of it. So, you know, that's not a big deal. I am glad that I didn't put the backdrop the whole way around before I did all of this. It would have been very difficult to use my Dremel. Plus painting was a bit easier, not having to worry about getting the roller out to the edge. There's one section over here that I haven't talked about much, but you can see there's a bunch of pieces of foam in there. And the reason I did that is because I got right to that corner, the corner in the center of the video, and I ran out of foam. So I had this little section over here, and you know, by golly, I wasn't going to spend 35 bucks for one 4x8 sheet of foam just to get pieces in there. And unfortunately, my dumpster source isn't available any longer. So I just took the scraps that I had and kind of pieced them in there. I think what I'll do over in here is maybe, you know, try and do a little carving, you know, do some ravines or gullies or such down near the front, so that you know, some of the holes don't show up so badly. There's some pretty big gaps in there. There's one pretty big triangle, but you know, obviously I could fill that with scenery. I don't know, you know, I may just cover it with something there. But anyway, I just wanted to address that if any of you had seen it. There's not any gaps big enough that will hurt the roadbed. the cork sheet is probably going to come down clear to the corner over here, and I may just cover this whole end with cork sheet so that, you know, there's no issue at all. But I guess that's probably the next thing that I'll be buying once I get the lines drawn on here, is my cork sheet. I've got plenty of roadbed, I believe, to do my main lines. You know, the majority of the track distance, the track length, is in yard area, so it's going to be on cork sheet. You know, so a couple of other things. Let's go over here and take a look at the plan for a second. So here's the famous plan. This section of the peninsula right here, John has included some pellet storage and refinery, and, you know, a tank farm, and a bunch of stuff with some yard tracks and sidings and such, because I told him to do that. When I asked John to go ahead and create the plan, he asked me what kind of industries I wanted on there, and so I told him, and he placed them. But what I may do in that section of the layout is maybe try and put a farm scene kind of in here, you know, down along this edge. This area down here is a lumber facility. I've got quite a few more buildings than I had on the other layout that are lumber related. So, you know, I may end up placing some of those in there. You know, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. The one building I had, if you remember, was just kind of, you know, I call them butler buildings. It was a rectangular shaped blue building with a white roof and a dust collector or wood chip collector on the side. That's what this little thing is right here. I do have some other lumber mill style buildings, so I may, I guess, you know, I'm rambling here. I'm going to change this side of the peninsula. At least today, I'm going to change it. Who knows what may come in the future, but so anyway, I suppose that's it for tonight. I just don't want to, you know, ramble on here. So I'm going to have to let the paint dry, and there's nothing as exciting as watching paint dry. So I don't think I'll be doing anything else tonight. No, you can't be drawing on it. So again, thanks for everyone subscribing and watching and commenting. I really appreciate it, and hope to get more consistent updates now that the cooler weather has set in. So look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care.